Let's talk about GLPs. The biggest medicinal breakthrough since insulin. Wouldn't you agree? All the stuff they're finding that it does, I think it's going to pan out to be bigger than insulin. Yeah, Jamie, you'll do great. You said Kaylee, hi. Cataract, and then you said, oops, wrong, Tammy. That's okay if it's oops, wrong, Tammy. It's fine. Oh, not Tammy, yeah. That's okay. No worries. Stents are fine. You don't even know they're in there. And you'll stop having chest pain almost instantly. You get psoriasis on your eyelid and have to get them. Oh. I know. So many people are ailing right now. It's like, I can't keep it straight. Without my handy dandy notebook, I wouldn't be able to keep it straight. All right, tonight we're going to talk about something huge. GLPs. I say that every night, don't I? I do write it down in my notebook. Some experts are calling them the biggest breakthrough in medicine since insulin. That's a bold claim. But the science behind these medications, these peptides, these long-chain polypeptides, and the impact on diabetes, weight, heart disease, and now even cancer is truly, truly groundbreaking. Stick around tonight. Listen to me, because I'll break down the latest research, bust some myths, and show you why GLPs are changing medicine forever. GLP stands for glucagon-like peptide. If anyone can send a rose, there's a flash gold going on. Glucagon-like peptide is actually the hormone that's in our body. We are injecting the glucagon-like peptide agonist. We still need 4 more roses. It'll be 3 more if I do one. Let me get this. There we go. Now it's 3 more. That hormone is released when we eat. And it goes out and does its job. It finds receptors to take it. And when the receptors take that hormone in, kind of like a lock and a key, it starts a reaction in whatever it's in. So whether it's heart tissue, liver tissue, stomach tissue, it starts a reaction. We don't control consciously where it's going to go. We don't control consciously what it's going to do. It just goes and does its job. We need just one more rose, guys. Just one more rose. Achieved! Lisa to the rescue. We got the flash go. We got the flash go. Woo, woo. So we're actually injecting the agonist, the thing that tells the hormone to go out and do its job, which is to find its receptor to do its job. It's kind of confusing, but it works. Bells was coming. Meow. Tiny, tiny, roar. Tiny, tiny, roar. Tiny, tiny, roar. So when you eat, if it goes to the gut, to the stomach, it will stabilize your blood sugar. It doesn't just lower it, it stabilizes it. It tells your brain, hey, I'm full. Slow the gastric emptying. And slow down those cravings. We're done eating. You don't need that appetite anymore. Shut it off. The body is fueled. But here's the breakthrough. Scientists found a way to mimic the agonist, which wakes up that hormone. The result is people eat less, feel satisfied sooner, and it stabilizes their blood sugars. That's why the average weight loss with these meds is 15 to 20% of body weight in clinical trials. Something we've never seen before in obesity treatment. The STEP trials where semaglutide produced 15% weight loss were some of the first ones to focus on weight loss. And they were in 2021. All of the trials before that were focused, the GLPs were focused on diabetes. So let's look at some of the life-saving events beyond weight. We are discussing how GLPs are the breakthrough medication, even more of a breakthrough than insulin. So, life-saving benefits beyond weight. Now, here's where it gets really exciting for the scientists. GLP agonists don't just help with weight. They actually save lives. Let me repeat that for all the people in the back that kept saying it's not a life-saving medication. Only diabetics should take it. They actually save lives. Heart health. The SELECT trial, published in 2023 in the New England Journal of Medicine, followed over 17,000 patients. People on semaglutide had a 20% reduction in heart health. 20% reduction in heart attacks, strokes, or cardiovascular death. And those, I do believe, were on Wegovy. 20% reduction. That's a fifth of the people that they studied had a reduction in cardiovascular heart attacks, cardiovascular strokes, cardiovascular death. They got that second chance to see their family. They got that second chance to go to work, to kiss their wife goodbye, to see their son graduate from high school, to see their daughter off to the army. They got that second chance to make more memories. Hi, Donna. They wouldn't have had that chance without Wegovy. And that was a fifth of the people, 1 in 5 people. 20% is 1 in 5 people. Look around you. Do you have 5 people in your house? One of those people would have passed from a heart attack, cardiovascular stroke, or cardiovascular event if they didn't take Wegovy. That's huge. That means GLPs could prevent heart disease, the number 1 worldwide killer. How about cancer risks? 2024, Nature Medicine study looked at over 1.6 million patients and found GLP meds were linked to a lower risk of 14 different types of cancers. Their data actually dropped today. They started in 2024, and their data dropped today. 14 types of cancers, 1.6 million patients, 14 types of cancers. The risks were lower. Those included colon cancer, breast cancer, kidney cancer, and pancreatic cancer. And that's a hard one to watch. That's really a hard one to watch, and it's so fast moving. This may be due to the reduced insulin resistance, the lower inflammation, and the less visceral fat. Now that they've seen the decreased risk of cancers, they need to look and see why they're seeing a decreased risk of cancers. Is it something the peptides actually do? Or is it the WL? Why exactly is it? How about liver disease? GLPs are being studied for fatty liver disease, MASH. Early studies show that they reduce liver fat and inflammation. A condition that currently has no FDA-approved treatment. None. There's nothing to treat fatty liver disease. Nothing. If you get that, the doctors treat your symptoms. Nobody treats the disease. That's sad. Really sad. How about obstructive sleep apnea? Does anyone in here know anyone that wears a CPAP? Do you know what obstructive sleep apnea truly is? Chris does. Obstructive sleep apnea is when you're sleeping, you stop breathing. Completely stop. And not just for a second, for a significant period. Hi, Pris. We're talking about why GLPs are a medical breakthrough. So you stop for a significant period and they count those. I forget what the time period exactly is, but it's no good to stop breathing. You don't need to stop breathing. You know what that's called when you stop breathing? Death. So those that stop breathing literally die in their sleep multiple times and then come back, usually in a gasp, multiple times. Usually how it happens is they're silent and then and they're gasping for air, and it is frightening when you are the spouse laying next to them, watching them not breathe. And you're just praying this is not the one that they stop for good, because that is what happens in sleep apnea patients. They will just stop for good, and that is how they pass. This medication stops that. It is the first approved medication. There are medical devices, but this is the first approved medication for sleep apnea. First one. That's amazing. So we looked at some of the extraordinary things. Let's bust some myths. Let's bust them right out of the water. Scared your mom when you stop breathing? Yeah. And then you come back in that big gasp. Hi, Amanda. Welcome in. So let's tackle the misconceptions, the myths. I heard from my cousin's brother's sister's wife. You know, the ones that nobody can tell exactly where they came from, but they came from someone that you know personally. Sure they did. You know, those. Someone was filtered. If you tried to say something and I didn't answer you, you were filtered. Hi, Bam. Hi, Slim. So the first myth that we're going to bust is hair loss. GLPs cause hair loss. No, they do not. Hair shedding happens because of rapid weight loss, not the medication. It's called telogen effluvium. The same thing happens after pregnancy, major surgeries, any shock to the body, any trauma to the body. Once your body adjusts again to what's going on, your hair will grow back. So if you get the right protein, the right nutrients, you know, you are getting everything that you need, your hair will grow back. GLPs are unsafe in the long term. You don't know. You don't know how they are in the long term. Wrong again. GLPs have been used since 2005 for diabetes. We have over 20 years of safety data logged with the FDA. Side effects are documented with the FDA. The most common side effects are nausea and constipation, which the FDA has noted can be treated over the counter. That means if you get nauseous or constipated, you treat them just as if you were nauseous or constipated before the medications. Whatever you would have done before the medication, you do now when you're taking the medication. These are just a fad. They're just the skinny shot. It's a Hollywood fad. Not true. Obesity is a chronic disease. These medications are finally treating the biological disease of obesity. Not just blaming people for their lack of willpower. They're treating the disease. They're not going anywhere. The people with obesity are now being recognized. They're not going anywhere. So what's the future of GLPs look like? GLPs are already transforming obesity and diabetes care. But researchers are testing them for so much more. They're treating them for addiction. Early studies show that GLPs reduce cravings for drugs and alcohol. PCOS. We've had so many Manjaro babes. You know, when I personally can come up with 7, you know there's more out there. I know very few people. I am not a popular creator. So for me to know 7 personally, there's got to be a ton out there. There's people that are having regular periods for the first time in their lives. It's doing amazing things for PCOS and fertility. The neuroprotection is being studied. There's research on GLPs helping with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. This is why people are saying GLPs could be the biggest medical revolution since insulin was 100 years ago. GLPs are amazing. And everybody that you talk to now knows someone that knows someone that knows someone that has tried a GLP. Would you take it for health reasons if you didn't need to lose any LBS? If a cardiologist gave it to you and said, but you need to maintain your diet to keep your weight up, would you take it? I would. Just to start off the conversation, I would. Hi, Dee Dee. What do you guys think? You would, Pris. You'd be able to, you'd keep up with diet and just take the medication. Chrissy would. Yeah. Pam would. I think absolutely. I think most people would. And I think the more things that get FDA approval for the GLP, the harder time insurance is going to have denying it over and over. Because they'll just keep, the doctor's offices will just keep trying a different CPT code until they get one that works. It's the way it's going to be. You would, because it helps your mental health so much. Exactly. I love that. It has so many benefits. So here's the bottom line. Insulin saved lives by controlling diabetes. GLP medications are saving lives too, but in an even broader way. They're helping with weight, with diabetes, with heart disease, with cancer, and maybe even more that we haven't figured out yet. So the real question is, will GLPs become the new standard of care for obesity and chronic disease? Should they be the new standard of care? Instead of shooting in the dark and exploring 50 million things trying to figure out what's wrong, should they start instantly with a GLP and then go for the fishing in the dark? Hi, Jamie. Yeah.